What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, if you caught my last video, I covered a poll talking about Democrats and, they're going down the wrong path and they need to stop going down that path and find a new direction to go because their polling is in the gutter. Their popularity is in the gutter. Nobody actually has any faith, hardly anybody has any faith in the Democratic Party to actually govern well, right? So there's very good reasons for this, and I kind of broke it down like, the left, they're too worried about aggravating the far left. They can't tell the far left to sit down and shut up. They can't tell them that they're nut jobs. They're so scared of being, ragged on by the far left that they're willing to capitulate to the far left agenda and just go down this path of destruction for themselves. And that's pretty much what it is, right? Their polling is in the gutter, like I was saying. And, this story I've got coming up for you guys is a very good example of exactly why I have lost faith that they will turn around and come back to us and get back on the right track and actually start to regain a little bit of trust from the voters, if you know what I mean. Check this out, y'all. Washington State sues rural county for helping ICE round up undocumented immigrants. That is right. This is just an insane story, and I was kind of blown away by the absolute insanity of this thing. Check this out, y'all. The Washington Attorney General claims in a new lawsuit that the sheriff in rural Adams County has been breaking state law for at least 3 years by helping federal immigration officers round up and collect information on suspected criminal aliens or undocumented residents. This is one of the reasons, right? Most people can understand, okay, what are these people? They're criminal aliens. That is the legal definition for these people. Just because you want to be politically correct, you don't care about American citizens in your journey to be politically correct, because you want to be fair to these people, right? Right? People that break our laws, they even get to a point to where they say things like this.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, it is illegal to come across our border. It's in the criminal code. That is a criminal violation, as a matter of fact. But these people, they're just insane. And since the election of President Donald Trump, Sheriff Dale J. Wagner has taken the position that the Keep Washington Working Act, a state law passed in 2019, is illegal, the lawsuit states. As a matter of fact, it is when you look into it, but we'll get into that. The law, passed with bipartisan support, restricts the ability of local authorities to participate in the enforcement of federal immigration law, right? Like that, they're actually advocating in this law to stonewall federal immigration authorities. As a matter of fact, you can't help them at all. Well, hang on. You can't make up a law to stop somebody from assisting federal immigration agents. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's illegal. As a matter of fact, and they want them to stonewall them and not assist whatsoever, not give any data at all. Come on now, you can't stop somebody from assisting federal agents. That is absurd on its face. But it's these types of policies that put people in danger because, as we know, that border, a lot of people were coming across that southern border. They're not doing it much anymore since Donald Trump came into office, but there was a lot of criminals coming across that southern border, putting people's safety at risk. And it's policies and laws like these that help to do that, right? Because local law enforcement, they know the lay of the land. Your federal immigration and enforcement agents, they may not know the land all that well. They may not know the area as well as local law enforcement. Plus, they collect data on a lot of these people because they get calls, they go out, they do interactions, and they find people that, well, they're not citizens of this country. And they're legally not allowed to assist federal agents. That's just absurd on its face. And so this guy said, screw you, I'm not going to sacrifice the safety of the citizens of my county because of your stupid, ridiculous virtue signaling. That's what he said, and I'll stand right there with him. And the insanity of Democrats to actually bring this to federal court, to sue the county for assisting federal law enforcement. This is why Democrats lost the last election. This is why Democrats have lost the faith of the people, the voters, for crying out loud. This is why Democrats look so insane on a constant basis, because of things like this, making up a law that actually prohibit you from assisting federal authorities. It's absurd. The state cannot stand by when elected officials publicly boast that they are breaking state law and putting their own communities at risk. You get that? That's the Attorney General from Washington State, Nick Brown, said in the lawsuit which was filed Monday in Spokane, Washington Superior Court. That is absurd. Sure, it might not be a good thing that the sheriff is out there touting, oh, I'm breaking state law. But when your state law violates federal law, right? Yeah, okay, so we see what's going on here. I understand why he's doing what he's doing. And I don't understand what this guy, saying, putting the community at risk. It's putting the community at risk to not get these criminal aliens out of here, especially, right? This involves police. So what does that tell you right off the jump? That there's been an interaction between a police officer, sheriff, whatever it may be, and a criminal alien. So that means the cops were called for some reason. So that means they're probably a criminal. There was probably a crime committed. Probably, right? It doesn't always mean that, but probably. And what these people want to do is just let these people go, right? If they get arrested for whatever, they'll go to court, serve their time, and you let them back out onto the streets. When there is an enforcement mechanism that would actually remove these people from the country altogether. But Democrats say that's cruel and unusual punishment. So what do? Right? We can't deport American citizens, but, if it's a criminal alien, we can. And why wouldn't we? If they come in, they break our law to get here. If they're here illegally, right, they're already a criminal. Don't care what Democrats say about that. They're already a criminal. If they break the law again, why would you want to keep them here when there is a mechanism to easily just get rid of these people? I don't understand that. Somebody please break that down logically. How is it putting the community at risk to help get this person out of here? Yeah. Okay, my guy. Wagner, however, disagrees. The state's restrictions attempt to tie the hands of law enforcement, making it harder to cooperate with federal agencies that help keep dangerous individuals off our streets, Wagner wrote in a statement posted to Facebook on Monday. Public safety should never be a political issue, yet this lawsuit prioritizes ideology over the safety of our communities. I happen to agree with that. According to the state in the lawsuit, the law allows law enforcement agencies to focus on their core duties of public safety by protecting all residents fairly and building trust with the community. Don't you think that if you got somebody that's not supposed to be in that community, don't you think it would be in the community's best interest to get rid of that person that's not even supposed to be there? Just saying. Adams County is in the southeast part of the state, about 80 miles south of Spokane. The lawsuit sets the stage for another legal showdown as the Trump administration takes aim at sanctuary cities and states that decline to cooperate with large-scale deportation of migrants. But the Washington case differs from ongoing cases in Louisiana and Indiana, where the state attorneys general have gone after sheriff's departments that have refused to cooperate with ICE operations. Defending the Adams County Sheriff's Office and the county, the other defendant named in the lawsuit, are lawyers from America First Legal, an organization co-founded by Trump aide Stephen Miller. Watch what they do with Stephen Miller right here. Stephen Miller's extreme views on immigrants are no secret, the lawsuit states. He has repeated white nationalist talking points and is responsible for shaping some of the Trump administration's harshest immigration policies. Right? Kind of like, yeah, we're going to get rid of you if you're not supposed to be here. Right? Yeah, that's extreme. In 2019, the Southern Poverty Law Center, a civil rights group, received a trove of emails from before the 2016 election in which Miller cited and promoted white nationalist ideologies of white genocide, immigrants as criminals, and other views. As a matter of fact, immigrants are criminals. And what do they mean, white genocide? I have no idea. I went to go, as a matter of fact, researching for this article. I looked for that. Couldn't find any evidence of that whatsoever. So take that with a grain of salt. This is coming from NBC, and they are just reporting on what is in the lawsuit. So they can put anything in the freaking lawsuit, right? And don't, think that it's some, out of the ordinary for a Democrat to put some nonsense into one of their lawsuits, because this lawsuit altogether is nonsense, right? You're going to sue your own county. The state attorney general is going to sue a county for assisting federal ICE officers, ICE agents. Huh? They're just trying to help the federal government. And you're going to sue them for doing so? Are you kidding me? Right? In Louisiana, the earlier part of this article said, they're having to sue, I think it's Orleans Parish, I think, if I'm right about that. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but I think it's Orleans Parish that don't want to help. So they're suing them to force them to help. Yeah, I don't see no problem with that. I don't see a problem with that at all. Compel them to do so, because it is federal law that these people aren't supposed to be here. In a statement released on February 26 before the lawsuit was filed, America First Legal confirmed it was already helping Adams County defend itself against the unlawful and abusive effort by Washington state officials to enforce illegal and dangerous sanctuary laws. On February 20th, a law firm allied with America First Legal urged Brown not to sue the sheriff's office or Adams County. Federal law is supreme over state law, and Adams County cannot discriminate against the federal government and its immigration enforcement efforts, nor can the county impede these efforts, as the sanctuary state statute requires. Attorney Joel B. Ard wrote in a letter to Brown. Brown, in the lawsuit, insisted that Washington has the right and the responsibility to decide for itself how to use its own resources to keep residents safe and the economy strong. Yeah, but if your laws actually don't keep your citizens safe, once again, federal authority supersedes local authority. It does. There's no getting around that. The federal government has no authority to coerce or direct local law enforcement for its own purposes, the lawsuit states. I do believe that is not true. NBC News reached out to Wagner, who has been the Adams County Sheriff since 2015, for comment about the lawsuit. He is the top law enforcement officer in a part of the state where agriculture is the main industry and more than half of the 20,000 plus residents are Hispanic. What does that even matter? That doesn't matter at all. Brown, in the lawsuit, charges that Wagner's deputies have unlawfully held people in custody based solely on their immigration status. Once again, they're not supposed to be in this country, so they're here illegally. You can't stop the guy from helping federal authorities. They have gone out of their way to enable federal immigration agents to interview or question people in custody, including transporting people in county vehicles expressly for that purpose, the suit states. And so what? They're criminals, for crying out loud. Also, Wagner's deputies have proactively and routinely shared the non-public personal information of hundreds of Washingtonians, or whatever that is. That's a stupid word. Including birth dates, home addresses, driver's license numbers, and fingerprints with federal immigration officials, the suit states. All of this conduct expressly violates state law. And once again, I don't think the guy cares, because he sees the situation. He sees that your stupid laws are damaging this country. They're damaging your own state. They put people at risk. They put communities at risk because you're allowing unvetted, unknown people that we don't know their intentions. We don't know what they're here to do. Right? There's so much crime that comes across that southern border. It's absurd. There's human trafficking. There's all kinds of things that go across that southern border. And do you think it just stops at border towns? No, it filters through the entire country. Fentanyl, for instance. They have a fentanyl problem up there in Seattle. Like, are these people just insane, or do they just not think? Talking about safety, that blew my mind when I read that. Oh, they're putting the safety of the community at risk. Are you kidding me? You guys are nut jobs. Brown said that the county's refusal to comply with the Keep Washington Working Act is an anomaly in the state, and that his office has, since last year, been engaged in good faith settlement negotiations in hopes of resolving the case without costly litigation. But the inauguration of President Donald Trump in January 2025 changed things, the suit states. Adams County and the sheriff took a new approach. Rather than comply with the KWW, they now claim it is illegal. That is right. And they do. And I can't wait for this to go to federal court and see the look on the judge's face when he's like, to the attorneys general of Washington State, are you insane? Like, I really can't wait to see that, because, yeah, they're pretty much insane. Federal authority supersedes any local authority. Yeah, and you might not be able to force people to actually help make them help you. But you can't force people to not help you. And you can't make a law that impedes federal agencies. I'm sorry. You just can't do that. That's not how the law works, as a matter of fact. Plus, it's ridiculous. And once again, like the whole point of this video is, this is why Democrats' popularity, the trust in the Democratic Party, is in the gutter. Because of things like this. They're suing their own state for the purposes of virtue signaling. Right? It's utter ridiculousness, y'all. But I think I've went on for long enough on this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Once again, it constantly blows my mind that these people think that that's the right thing to do, is to allow criminal aliens to come into this country and stay here. Even though absolutely knowing that criminals traffic drugs, traffic people, traffic all kinds of stuff across that southern border. The cartels operate, or at least under the Biden administration, were operating with impunity across that southern border. Right? Joe Biden just allowed all of that to go on. They didn't really stop anything from going on. Like, it just ran crazy. They just ran amok all over the place. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let's not help the federal government try to clean this mess up. Even though they've got a fentanyl crisis up in Seattle, or at least they did. I don't know if they still do. It's been a while since I've looked into that, but I'm pretty sure nothing has changed. But, you never know at this point. But y'all let me know what y'all think. That's all I got on this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.